Can you see all of me, Coach? Can you see me good?
Oh yeah, Coach. Coach, you look. Hey, you just shave that beard off, Coach. You look like new money, Coach. You look like that young guy in those pictures I always see when I search the internet looking for a graphic of Coach Cole. Let's give him a couple more minutes, Coach. I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. This is a very special edition of HBCU Coaches Corner. I am your host, Rocky Miller, along with the featured host, none other than the SWAC legend himself, Johnnie Cole. I apologize for those people who tuning in specifically for the Rattler and the FAMU report. We will not be having it today because the Rattler, Mr. Stephen Campbell, will not be with us today. But with that being said, show must go on, right, Coach?
That's right, man. As they say, one monkey don't stop a show.
Absolutely. And Coach, when you called me a couple, probably about a little more than a week ago, and you say, hey, we got to get this guy on. I got this is somebody that the culture and the HBCU people should know about. A very accomplished coach, someone with a vast history, and actually someone who you consider a friend, Coach. So with no further ado, I'll step aside and let you do the introduction.
You know, one thing about the gentleman we about to bring in, you know, he actually was on the Power 5 level, at a high level, Coach. His career was going, you know, who knows? But he gave that up to go back to a school that he went to, a HBCU school. He took the Alcorn State job, was doing some great things there. You know, unfortunately, you know, we always talk about on this show, Rocky, how in the last 25 years, why we don't rejuvenate head coaches that maybe not have success somewhere else, move. But this guy has success at Alcorn State. He's a coach at LSU. He's coached at University of Cincinnati. He know Coach Kelly. You know, I mean, he was in the game, you know, and we both started the game together. And he's a cat that never, you know, we was always approachable, you know, when he was at the big time, you know, and you know, we talked then, we talk now. We've always kept in touch. He's kind of a throwback coach. You know, when I was at Texas Southern, he was the head coach at Alcorn. When they came to us, you know, I would send some out to go get his staff, and they would hang out with us. And then when I went down to Mississippi, we would hang out as a staff. You know, of course, in those 60 minutes inside them lines, we were getting after it, but we always been friends, man. And that's kind of how I learned how the SWAC is and was during your Eddie Robinson days and your Marino Casson days, that, you know, each one teach one, each one bring one. Of course, we're a little low on that right now, but with no further ado, the new head coach at Mississippi Delta Junior College, Ernest Jones.
Hey, what's going on, Coach Cole?
Man, look, I'm glad to see you back in that suit, baby. That's head coach suit.
Hey, man, I had to dig deep back in the closet to find me one ice cold, but I found one.
Hey, Rob, and you see, he got red on because the school's colors are red.
Yo.
See, that's old school right there, Coach. And he might have red socks on.
I had to go to school with that red because that Noopy red, you know, we gotta put that Noopy red on the screen every chance we get.
Man,
ow.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, and you back where you belong. You know, one thing about coaching, we don't coach mascots, we coach kids.
Yes, sir.
And it's a great way to take that program where I know you're gonna take it, man. And you know, we ain't gonna talk about the future right now. You got you still new, you know, you still learning where the restroom at. but I know you're gonna get that thing going in the right direction. Coach, how you feeling, man?
Yes, sir. Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to come back to the state of Mississippi, where it all started for me. Like you said, back in the early 2000s, I left Cincinnati and came back to my alma mater for my first head coaching opportunity at Alcorn State University. So to be able to come back to this state, it means a lot to me. You know, the state of Mississippi is close to me. My oldest son was born and went to school here in this city. I went to college here in this city. I got family down here in this city. And then just to be able to come back down here to Mississippi and get an opportunity to be the head coach and try to pour into these young people, I'm very, very excited about it.
I know we talk a lot, Coach, all the time about getting back in that head job, man, and somehow in some way it don't matter how you get there. You know what I mean? Is that you're there now, you're in that seat, you belong in that seat, man, and you know I'm ecstatic for you. Now I got to come to Mississippi and put that on my travel to come down there to see my frat brother as well. You know,
Yes, sir.
do his thing.
I mean, it's truly a new day now. So it's a new day down here. My administration, I got a great administration, Coach Cole. They're backing me. They haven't said no to me yet. These kids are buying into what we're doing, putting together a great staff, all Division I coaches, people with that type of experience that would never come to a place like this if I were not here. And so we're very pleased with the staff we're putting together, the people, the kids that we have on the team, just the opportunity to give this community down here in the Delta, which is one of the, you know, not so great state or cities in the state or areas in the area, but we're going to bring some energy down here. We're going to get them excited about being down here in the Delta by using football to do that.
Well, let me ask you something, Coach. When Coach Cole reached out to me, he seems extremely excited. He believes that Mississippi Delta has made a great selection as a head coach. But what I asked Coach, and what I come to understand, is how were they able to land such a competent coach at this late in the hour? You know what I mean? Like, from what I understand, as being covering college football, all the good coaches are taken up right away. A guy of your caliber usually isn't available at this point in the year. So how did you come available, and how did this kind of unfold just for the people?
Yes, sir. That's a great question, Rocky. And to be honest, first and foremost, it's because of the grace of God. You know, God is always the head of my life and the head of what I do. And he's doing the driving, not me. Ernest Jones may want to do something, may want to be somewhere, but he's driving this thing. But to be quite honest, 2 years ago, I was at Alabama A&M coaching the secondary, leading the special teams there. You know, as I told you, my oldest son, he graduated from Ohio State University. He's out in Phoenix with the Phoenix Suns, 8 years out there with the Suns. We're so proud of him. But when my youngest son was a sophomore in high school, I was in Alabama. And I took him away from my wife, who stayed in Florida, because I live in Florida now, and brought my son to Alabama with me. And it was the first time I took him from her, and that bothered me. And I said that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to take my son back to Florida, and I'm going to spend the next 2 years with my son to pour into him, to develop him, and to help him get to go to college. And he ended up being a top 100 player in the state of Florida. He's in college right now. My wife and I dropped him off about 2 weekends ago in Missouri. And just the weekend that we dropped him off, I'm talking to the head coach at that time, Coach Johnson, about this opportunity, because Terrell Buckley took the head coaching job at Mississippi Valley. His defensive coordinator played with Terrell Buckley at Florida State. He called him and gave him the job. The head coach here called me and asked me if I would recommend somebody. And he probably was really asking for me, but in the middle of the conversation, he said, well, you're giving me all these guys, Coach. What about you? Would you come down here? And I'm like, well, I'm dropping my son off to college. I said I was going to see my son get to college, and I was going to come back to this game. So the first call that I got after dropping my son off to college was Mississippi Delta. So that's how it happened. It wasn't planned that way. It just kind of happened that way. And I sent my son to college. My wife said she was all right with it. And I came on down here to Mississippi Delta Community College. That's kind of how it happened.
Man, hey, Coach, with a demanding job like that coaching is, I've come to understand that by getting to meet several coaches over the past 5-6 years, and also being, hosting this show with Coach Cole. a guy that put his family first and put coaching on the back burner, that's a rare decision, especially for you guys who have invested your entire life in the coaching. How did you come to that decision? Because that's an interesting circumstance to me that you said, I'm gonna put my family first in the middle of what is, I would consider you being a position coach at the D1 level, a very successful coaching career, to put your family on the front burner and your coaching career on the back burner. How did you come to that decision, and what led to that?
Yes, sir. I tell people, my wife and I, we've moved 12 times. She's been to 12 different cities. She's been with me all over this country, supporting me and what I wanted to do. But my family told me at that time when I took my son away from her, you got to make a decision for your family, Coach Ernest, Terrell. They call me all the different names that my family calls me. And they said, make a decision that's best for your family right now. And that was hard. Because I'm coaching and I didn't have to lead a game, but I said, you know what, I'm going to make this decision for my family. And if God can bless me with an opportunity in 2 years, I'll do that. And it's kind of funny when you say that, because I've been trying to be quiet about me being here because I've been out here for so long. If people find out that I came back to coaching, I'll get a call. In fact, he's on the call, and he's probably going to say, oh, don't say that out loud. But, I'm talking to my vice president today, and he's talking about, trying to hold on to me and keep me here because I hired a coach, and my offensive coordinator got called yesterday to leave and go to Edward Waters. So I'm trying to hold on to my offensive coordinator. And then I got a call about somebody trying to pull me out of here to go to Division I. And I told them, hey, I shook this my administrator's hand and said, I'm gonna be here. And I'm gonna try to hold on to that, but the opportunities probably gonna come for me to be able to get back out there in the space because I've been in the space. But I'm gonna give everything I got as long as my feet are on the ground down here in the Delta, with Mississippi Delta. I'm gonna give these young people the best experience they can ever have, and we're gonna go out there and compete our butts off and try to win every single ball game. And as I told this administration, I can't guarantee that we're going to win, but they're going to look like a football team. They're going to act like a football team, and you're going to look at a real football team, and we're going to compete our butts off and give ourselves a chance to win a football game each and every week that we play. That's what I'm going to do. That's how I got here. And then if later on down the line somebody gives me a call, I'll have to sit and talk to my family and see if that's something that I want to do. But right now, Mississippi Delta is committed to me. They're committed to the staff. They're giving me all the resources that I need to be able to compete in this league.
Well, Coach, that's a very inspiring story. Because one of the things that Coach Cole has always explained to me is that once you step away from the game, there's no guarantee that you're going to get an invitation back in the game. Yeah. And so I think you seem to be very appreciative of this opportunity, and I wish you much success, Coach, in carrying that out. Coach Cole, I know you got something for him.
Let me say one thing before Coach Cole talks, and he can add to this, but it is that. But when you got some respect in this game and people know who you are and what you're about, you can always try to, get back in the game. What's so hard is when you try to get into that PWI space and you try to get at that higher level. But with Coach Cole, I'll say this on air, but he's just like me. He's a guy that I admire in the same way that people look at me. If Coach Cole told me tonight that he wanted to come to Mississippi Delta and be on my staff, he will put him on an airplane and get him down here tomorrow. That's the kind of respect that I have for him. And that's the kind of respect that guys like he and I have in this business. And I'm not the only one who feel that way about Coach Cole. But that's what I held on to when I walked away from it 2 years ago.
Yeah, ain't no question, Coach. Like I said, I followed your career, and like I said, we kind of fell in the same bag at one time. We both were head coaches in the conference. I don't even know, Rocky, if you even knew Coach had coached at Alcorn. Rocky keep up with all the coaches, and he like, damn, Coach, do you understand that none of the coaches have even came back to another school? We've coached, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but
sir.
Coach, let's just talk about some of your past for a minute, some of the decisions that you did make.
Yes, sir.
When you were with Coach Kelly.
Yes, sir.
I think you left him twice.
Yeah.
So it ain't
three times.
I'm
the only coach in the history to lead Brian Kelly on 3 different occasions and be hired back. So yes, sir.
Yeah. And so, how was that? Did you ever, when you took the job at Alcorn, kind of give us that story, because man, you was on a trajectory, she
Yeah.
probably to the NFL.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, had I stayed with Coach Kelly, and this is the gospel truth, I'd probably be a head coach in the NFL. You know, I was tracked as one of the top coaches in the country when I was going through this thing. You know, but you know, life gives you those decisions. You know, at the time, before I got with Coach Kelly, I was with Coach Kelly. We was at Central Michigan University, and the vice president at Central Michigan University became the head coach at my alma mater at Alcorn State University. And when he took that job at Alcorn, he immediately called me and asked me to come be the head football coach at Alcorn State University. So that's how I got down to Alcorn. But I'll tell you, true story, when I went in there and told Coach Kelly that I was going to leave and go back to Alcorn, he said, Coach, why you want to do that? What you want to do that? Because at the time, his agent was the guy helping me negotiate that contract. He said, Coach, I'll get you a MAC job if that's what you want. And Coach Kelly, he was just coming up in it. He wasn't where he is now, but I knew he would be there. He was like, you don't have to do that. I'll get you a MAC job. Just hang in here with me and I'll get you a MAC job. But I said, Coach, I want to go back to my alma mater. I went down there. Things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go because of me, my personality, or whatever was happening. But as soon as that didn't go the way I wanted it, I called Coach Kelly and I was in Cincinnati the next day. So, but how I got there was that the vice president at Central Michigan became president at Alcorn. He knew me from Central Michigan, and he brought me back to Alcorn.
But Coach, looking back at HBCU, because that's what our show is about, and it's definitely not about bashing HBCU. It's about trying to make us better. And taking on a coach like you, and I know when you say attitudes, you're being nice,
Yes, sir.
because when you sit in that seat, you can't be nice.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take you out of the nice seat. What is it where HBCU, for some reason, now they're going to the pro coach or the pro athletes that they can improve on, that some decisions about you are more about personal than the business side of it? What would be your take on that?
Yeah, I actually think that those schools are trying to look for that glitz and that glamour. I don't take anything away from Deion Sanders and what Deion Sanders did. But coaches like you and myself, we were doing that before he was doing that. But it wasn't getting that kind of attention that he got out of it because he was in the NFL. And if you remember, you may not know this, Rocky, but Coach Cole does. I was the head coach at Morgan State, and then they wanted to go hire Tyrone Wheatley behind me because they wanted to go get an NFL guy he eventually left to go back to the NFL. I just think that they're looking at the wrong things, which in my opinion are dollar figures or what they think they're going to get for hiring those type of personalities. But there are great coaches out there who are good fundamental coaches who can motivate these young people to play at a very, very high level and are just as smart ass and just as connected as some of those other coaches, but they won't give us those opportunities. And even if they do, we got one shot at that thing and then it's over. To never be able to come back. Like, to be able to come back to Mississippi for me is a good thing, but it doesn't not have to be a final destination for me because I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, and I'm going to bring to the table some of the same ideas and things that those guys are doing. It's just going to be a matter of how will it be received by your administration, by your community, by the public, et cetera, if that makes sense, Coach Coles. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
No, you would agree that your eyes have seen, a whole bunch of different things. And I think what happens, and you can correct me, is that when you're at the HBCU level, you in your mind and the way you handle stuff, you can run those programs like a Division 1A program. But for some reason, change scares people. You know what I mean? And when you haven't seen those things, I'm pretty sure now that you sitting in that seat, I hope they ready for some changes. And it ain't always necessarily got to be about money.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But it got to be about support.
That's right.
And I'm pretty sure you've already spoke highly of the support you have there. Are you seeing those same things that you can change down there, that you could make better?
I do. And I'll just tell you, it's just like even when I was to come back to here, and I'm not just trying to say that Mississippi Delta is doing this because I'm here, but I was at Alcorn. I was at Morgan. I'm talking about when I sat as a head coach. And it was always like, this isn't Cincinnati. This isn't UConn. This isn't Notre Dame. Like I was getting that like all the time. And I said, but those are still kids. Those are still the coaches. We still got to play the game. I'm just saying, if you can invest into the program like this, that's how you can be successful. That's what winning is. So I came down here to Mississippi Delta, who's won 2 games in the last 4 years. And I'm saying, do you really want to win? Yes, I want to win. This is what you have to do. It's not always, like you said, about the money, but there are some things that we have to have in order to be successful, because those kids need to be motivated every time they walk through that locker room door and every time we as coaches get in front of them. And if they are willing to allow us to do some of those things, I tell my kids all the time, and I'm not trying to be funny, Coach Cole, you are practicing and stretching like LSU practicing and stretching right now. What we are talking to you about in a meeting room is what they're talking about at LSU. Some of the things that I'm saying to you is what Brian Kelly is saying to them. I tell them that all the time. What you see on that locker room wall, that message right there, if you go to LSU right now, that message going to be on that wall. You guys got to believe what I'm saying because it's proven, because I've been around the Bob Diacos, the Jeff Quinns, the Paul Longos, the Brian Kellys. Like I've been around the Bill Inges. I've been around these guys. I've learned from these guys, and I'm bringing what I learned from them to the place that I'm at. I just need the institution, the community, the players, and everybody to buy into what we're doing, and we'll be successful.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir.
One of our followers, shout out to Johnny Thoron, man. He's one of our very avid listener, and he says, you're right, Coach. Podcasters like Rocky think NFL playing experience means a player can coach and manage. If that were true, the NFL would hire nothing but former coaches. Here's my contention. When I, as a fan, Coach, because that's what I am first, I'm a fan first. When I suggest that a school hire an NFL player, it's merely to gain interest, support, and infuse dollars into the program, right? That's why I advocate for that. Because anytime that I have a critique of an HBCU program, what does it go back to, Coach Cole? We don't have the funds to do this or that. And I'm saying whether those guys are figurehead coaches, CEO coaches, however it happens, if you connect those guys to the program, and maybe you'll get guys who are really competent coaches to come in and team up with those guys the way Dion did and coach and invest and create a Power 5 environment for a school. You can say what you want to about Dion, so on and forth. But when Dion was at Jackson State, you can't argue this. Jackson State had a Power 5 environment. They didn't have an HBCU environment. Wouldn't you agree, Coach Cole?
Yeah, because everybody ain't a Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? He's the exception, not the example. He's the exception.
And like Coach Jones just said, and I just want to say this, like Coach Jones just said, it's really about having the administration, the fans, the boosters, all supporting athletics in a way that give them the resources to have a program with the same level of investment, not dollar for dollar. I'm just talking about having that type of support and that type of momentum as a LSU, as a Notre Dame. If everybody was pulling in the same direction, you could have something similar on the HBCU level, in my opinion.
But Rocky, let me just add to that. At the same time, though, the difference, like I see what Coach Cole is saying, because it's bigger than that, though, Rocky. You have to be able to know how to recruit. You have to be able to know how to put a staff together. You have to be able to know how to go into these young people's homes and talk to them and talk to their parents and walk around this community. And a lot of times, you don't just get that because you was a former player. there's a lot that goes into coaching than just saying, I played this game at a very, very high level. You are knowledgeable of a skill technique and what it takes to get to that level. But all of those little things that you have to know to build a successful program, sustain, because it's not about winning a game. It's about building a program, something that'll still run when you walk away from it. And a lot of times you just gonna get the commercials and the money and the glitz and the glamour when you hire those guys, in my opinion.
Coach Jones, I get you. I get what you're saying, Coach. But this experiment would have been over, right? But what happened was, and I'm gonna ask you as a professional coach, I don't know if you were in or out the game at that point, but if a coach, a former NFL player, can come in and in one semester transform the program into the most dominant program in the conference, how can you speak against hiring an NFL coach? And why? And I'll ask you, why was he able to come in the SWAC and kick everybody butt for 2 years in a row?
Well, let me jump in on that for a minute, Ernest.
Yes, sir.
Look at the guys that he was coaching against.
Now,
All of them had no experience. And guess what, Ernest, Coach Jones, I'm sorry, all of them are gone.
That's right.
They had no experience. I keep saying, he would not have came in when me and Ernest and Coach Fobbs and Coach Spears and all these great coaches, he wouldn't have came in and dominated like that. And I'm not saying nothing against these guys. We all had experience and backgrounds and stuff like that. So no, I don't think so. I don't think he would have done that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, Coach Prime is in another atmosphere. Let's say that, because we got to give him his credit. Right?
That's right.
We got to give him love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I want to make sure I give him love.
That's
you know what I mean? But I guarantee you, though, he'd have coached against me. He wouldn't have dominated me because I dominated the league
so
when I
unfair
came in.
to compare anybody to Coach Prime. They call him Prime.
Right.
You know?
So
Exactly.
I give him.
There's
I
a
give
bunch
him
of
love.
these coaches from back in the day that
Yeah.
Broadway and Cole. Huh?
Yeah.
You talking about
No, Coach.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
saying
I'm sorry. Just a little delay, Coach. My apologies. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm saying there are coaches out there, like you said, like Cole and Broadway and Ferrier. And there are guys out here are established coaches who have seen it, who would go in there and would have given him a run for their money because they would have been running their programs in the same way that he was running his program. Like I said, he had the name behind him, but they called Coach Cole Ice Cold back when he was coaching. The man went from conference to conference and school to school doing the exact same thing. I'm going to be doing some of those exact same things right here at Mississippi Delta, but they call me Coach Jones. They don't call me Coach Prime. That's the difference, and I respect that.
Right. So, Coach, let me ask you this: you left the conference, and you also coached in the MEAC. Because I haven't got Coach Cole coached in the SWAC. You coached in the SWAC. You also coached in the MEAC. I haven't ever asked a coach this from a head coaching perspective. What is the difference in between the two conferences?
In my opinion, I don't think it's even close. SWAC versus MEAC. I think the SWAC is by far ahead of the MEAC, and I know that teams are moving over to the SWAC. But I would say that even before, I just think it's more talented coaches in the SWAC. I think they got better players in the SWAC. I just think that brand of football that's played in these southern states, the type of players that are attracted to these type of schools are just better than the players that's attracted to those schools going towards the Midwest. But at the end of the day, I'm a coach. I just think it's better coaches and it's better coaching in the SWAC than it is in the MEAC.
Yeah. Let's switch gears for a minute, Coach, because this is about you and
Yes,
Mississippi Delta today. Is it any, have you had enough time to try to evaluate your staff? Or, I mean, not your staff, but your players?
I have.
And with all that, tell us why, should some of our kids, if you know the players, and why should my kid come to junior college, and also we need to know about the new rule on junior colleges as well.
Absolutely. You know, why go to junior college for one? Because, you know, it doesn't count. Your clock doesn't start. So you can come and get 2 years of playing experience at a very high level, especially in Mississippi, which in my opinion, in most opinions, is the best JUCO football in the country. And you can come here and play like that. And every Division I school, Power 5 school is coming to Mississippi JUCO. They're come and visit. Even though we won 2 games last year, we sent 5 guys Division I. And because I'm here and because Coach Taylor's here, Division I coaches are going to come here because they know our offense and our defense is going to be coached very well. And I have about 5 to 8 Division I players here on my team. You know, I have gotten a chance to look at some of them. I got 2 defensive ends, Zabari Chandler and Sean G, 6'5", 255, 265. They Division I. They look like Division I players. They act like Division I players. They play like Division I players. That's a pretty good thing. I got 2 corners. I got a 6'2" corner, Thoron Dickerson from Florida, and I got Jeremiah Campbell, who got 8 offers from Memphis, Tennessee. Both of them 6'2" corners, 180 pounds. They can play Division I. They already hold Division I offers, so we have those kind of guys over here. I got the Bethune-Cookman transfer playing quarterback for me here in ex-Washington, who took
Is
Tampa.
that the left-handed? Is that the left-handed kid
from Tampa? Took him 12-1 down there, so he's here on our campus right now.
He bad boy, coach. He bad boy.
So we feel good. Dwayne Mosley over there at wide receiver, he's got great hands, great feet. A bunch of those good things. We got a tackle out there, Emmanuel Cooks, about 6'5", 315 pounds. I'm saying you got Division I guys here in the building, and the Division I coaches are going to come see them. What we have to do is get these guys, because I've been in that space, graduated at the mid-year. They got a better chance to go to Division I if we can get them out at the semester. So we're pushing them to take the type of classes to graduate at the semester so that they can get an opportunity Division I. Because I spent time in Division I coaches will miss on a kid if they can get him at the semester, because we get to get him in the spring and we get him in the summer versus waiting on a kid to try to pick him up late summer. Does that make sense? So us understanding that stuff, I don't have to be NFL, glitz and glamour, this and that. I know that. And I'm going to pour that into this program, into these kids, to get them ready to go at the semester so that they can be attractive to Division I programs. Does that make sense?
Now, Coach, do they have to graduate, or if they came in college ready, all they got to do is pass their 12 hours and then they can leave? If not, they got to graduate.
Absolutely.
And I remember when I was at Fort Scott, now I don't know if they changed the rule, or where they were beginning to move this rule that you couldn't take classes off campus. You got to take them on campus. Is that changed?
No, a couple things about that. First of all, you want to go recruit a qualifier. A qualifier is a kid that can play Division I right now out of high school. He can play and go to Division I at the semester. Pass 12 hours, play a great season, go Division I. If you don't have that, you got to graduate. You still want to try to get them out in a year and a half, where they can leave at the second semester in the second year at the semester. And then in regards to those hours that transfer in and transfer out, they differ depending on a college. As long as it's an accredited institution and that the college that you are at will accept it as a transferable hour that they'll add to their transcript, you can do that. And that's what kids are doing. And most of them are taking those online classes so that they can pad those hours up so that they can get out of here early.
Hey, Coach Cole, for a second, I just want to make a quick announcement. Again, we're gonna stop the stream on the Off Script channel, and select the stream, the Rocky Miller stream. I want to thank you guys for watching on the Off Script channel, but we're gonna continue to broadcast on the Rocky Miller channel with HBCU Coaches Corner. I want to thank you guys. You got 1 minute to go ahead and switch over. Once you switched over, go ahead and type 1, and we'll continue. Go ahead, Coach.
And subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe.
We got to sell some tickets. We got to make some money, Ernest.
Yeah, we definitely do, Coach. This is a tremendous interview. I know Coach Cole only said he only had you on for 30 minutes, Coach, but can you go a little longer?
Yes, sir.
With us, because, man, we got you on fire. You're really dropping some knowledge. And as we go through this process with junior colleges, I think there's some value here at the junior college level that people are maybe missing or may not clearly understand, and you can possibly kind of clear that up for us or whatever.
Yeah,
yes,
one of the things, Coach, and just give you some more on your plate that you could talk about. Of course, everybody is NIL. High school kids are a 5-star high school kid is now a 4-star, and sometimes won't even get chosen. How is it important? Because everybody is into this. Oh, I need to go to this 4-year school. How is it important for some of them kids to maybe take a junior college route and then go or be out there so they can move forward because they get the playing experience and they get the schooling. What's
Well,
your philosophy on today?
yep, in my opinion, if you're not a 5 or a legit 4-star player, you can hang it up. There are a lot of 3-star players that's sitting at home right now. There are a lot of 3-star players that's in the junior colleges. It's just not happening anymore. The first thing that these schools are going to do is they're going to go to the portal. The portal is the new high school, if you will. They're going to go to the portal. They're going to pick the best players out of the portal and build their team. And then if they have to go get the next level of kid, they're going to go to the junior colleges because those kids can play 2 years and their clock doesn't start. So the high school 3-star, 2-star, and 1-star is obsolete. So here at Mississippi Delta, we're going to go after those guys. We're going after the 3-stars and the 2-stars and the 1-stars because they're going to be looking for homes when signing day is over. That's kind of what the landscape is right now. You better be a 5-star for sure and a legit 4-star, or it's going to be real tough on you.
Let me add.
Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to ask, Coach. I went to a junior college out of high school, Coach, and one thing I know about junior college is that once those guys completed their time in junior college, once they got to 4-year school, it was a no-brainer. They were gonna be able to go out there and perform, and not only on the field but also on the classroom, because that adjustment that you go through in junior college is such a culture shock that if a kid is able to stick with it and make it through, they were just almost guaranteed to be lights out at the next level and very appreciative of the opportunity that they're getting. Do you guys still serve as a proving ground for kids who may have been under-recruited or who didn't get an opportunity right out of high school?
Absolutely. That's what we do, and that's what we look for. You know, when we're going into those schools, you know, we're not asking the coach to just bring us down the player who doesn't have the good grades. We're asking him bring us down the player that you would bring if Brian Kelly walked in here. And I want to talk to that kid, but at the same time, show us the kid that thinks he can play at LSU, that nobody knows about, but his work ethic and his ability in the classroom afford him the opportunity to go to a place like that, but they're not looking at him. We want to look at those type of kids. And then that also gives credibility to the junior college programs. Another thing that does that, not trying to say anything about me, but some of the top level JUCO programs are trying to get guys with similar backgrounds to myself to also add some credibility to what they're doing and attract a different type of athlete to those colleges. That's what's going to make the junior college the second picking choice after the portal, my opinion.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I tell you, I was just thinking the same thing. Why now should I go to Mississippi Delta? I should go to Mississippi Delta because Ernest Jones, the head coach, have coached with some of the most powerful coaches around that's still in the game. And he has those contacts. And I'm pretty sure that you with those contacts, you'll reach out to Brian Kelly and these guys. And of course, they only could sign so many kids, you know, that you now can do what? Okay, y'all can't get him, but once you bring him here, I'm gonna hold him here for you, like a farm team. You know, I know that's probably you thinking, and I don't know if I don't gave your secret away, but I know you the witch doctor. That's one thing. That's why you were able to coach at these higher places, because you were always good with student athletes.
Coach, I'll give you two things. I've already called every one of my coaches in Power 5. And the first thing I did is said, send me your 3. The guy, because they want that. I already know how it works. They want the 3 out the building so they can get the money off of him. And he's not going to play. I'm saying, send me your 3 here, and I'll send him back to you, or he can go somewhere else. Already done that. they're calling me every single day, asking me for our recruit list because they know that the kids are going to be well coached. They're calling me saying, who is the guy? Put us first on the list. Send me your guy right now. We're coming down or we're sending the coach down. And then a last little thing is that my players, I've been able to put on the phone some Power 5 guys in a meeting to let them talk via intercom, to let them know that this is what I can do by picking up the phone and, hey, talk to this team. And that coach is saying some of the things that I'm saying. Can you imagine? They know that coach at this Power 5 school, and that coach is saying the same thing that Coach Jones saying to me every day. That's the kind of experience that these young people are getting here. You can respect that, Coach Cole. I know.
That's great. That's great. That's what I kind of figured. So
Coach Cole,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask
and Coach. Okay, let's talk about the money part of going to the junior college. Does the financial aid transfer? How does that work?
Absolutely. And one of the things that you have to do is you have to try to find Pell guys. Those are kids that qualify for Pell money so that you can
Okay, can you break that down a little more, Coach?
Okay.
The Pell money?
Basically, in a way that people can understand it. Find a kid that can play that don't have a whole lot of revenue coming into their household. That makes sense? So
Yes.
Maybe not a kid like you and me and Coach Rocky. So this kid can play, but there's not a lot of income coming in the household with his mother or father. The second thing you have to do is find a kid with great academics, because if they got great academics, they can get the academic money. And then the third kid is the kid whose parents got money who can pay the bill. And you have to have a strategy like that. So we go look for the kid. So the kid whose family income number is low who can play, we want to major in that kid. We want to get all those type of kids on our campus. And then we want to go get the smart kid who makes a 3.5 and a 4.0 that can play.
Yeah.
And then we go find a couple kids who their parents just got a whole lot of money and they want their kid to play. They couldn't get the opportunity that they wanted, and they don't have no issue paying the bill.
So Coach, let me ask you this here, Coach. How important is it for you to coach a kid in Mississippi, in the Delta, Mississippi, that loves football?
Let me tell you, it's very important. And one thing about Mississippi, because this as a state, they go through, they're not looked upon as some of the top elite states. But these kids are hungry and they want it. They got that little slang about them when they talk. They sweat differently. They work differently. So it's important to me to try to stay here in this state. Yep, we got out-of-state scholarship. Yep, we can go to Florida, Georgia, Texas. We can go anywhere and get that player. But the kids down here, they cut differently, Rocky. Again, they sweat differently. They just different in a way that you like when you put them out there on the football field. It's just a different kind of hungry because they want to get out of the circumstance that they in right now. And the only way that they can do it is to play this game of football.
Yeah. Let me throw another thing out and just check it. Now, back in the day, they could only bring in at one time it was 8 to 10 out-of-state players. Is that still a standard in Mississippi JUCO, or has that changed as well?
No, it is. It's just the number has been raised to 15 now. 15 out-of-staters.
So they show enough got to show enough. They got to be the show enough.
You can't go out of state and get a kid that won't start for you. He has to start, no questions asked. He has to be bona fide, certified, electrified. If we gonna go out of state and get him for one of our 15, 100%.
You don't want an out-of-state kicker?
Mississippi guy know, hey, you have to be, if you spend out-of-state money on a kicker, boy, he better be going to the NFL from here. But if I go out of state to get a quarterback that play like Coach Cole, any the other quarterbacks on the list looking like they already know. That's the difference. So if you play a position, say quarterback, and they brought an out-of-stater in here, you got to get a Mississippi kid that's got some confidence in himself, because he know that if I went out of state to get that quarterback, that guy coming out the gates on day one. So that's the thing you got to be able. But if you got some personality as a coach and you got a great coaching staff, you can get you 2 good Mississippi players to play behind that kid that you wouldn't got from Florida.
You know, Coach, I gotta say this, you know, and Rocky knows when I talk to my guys, you know, of course you one of my guys. You know, Mississippi Delta don't hit a home run on the head coach. You know what I mean? And I look for you to do great things, man. But I just wanted to say that while I was thinking about it.
You know,
So, go ahead, Coach.
that's the conclusion that a lot of our followers and our listeners and the people that watch this show weekly, they believe. Hey, you make believers out of. Hey, Coach, obviously you can coach it. That's what your record said. But hey, you got them believing, Coach. You got them believing.
Yes, sir. I mean, we got them believing out here because the mantra is a new day. It's a new day.
Right.
It's a new day. It's a new day. And the administration, the players, and the community know that it's truly a new day down here in the Delta.
Yeah. Now, Coach, do you do anything off? Well, how long you been the head coach now? What, 2 weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So you really have you been able to get off campus yet, or you just gonna take it where it's at and then build as you go?
Yeah, I haven't been off campus yet. A lot of people are coming here to see me. How about this, Coach Cole? Oh man, he's gonna give me credit. The old Mississippi Valley coach came in here 2 days ago and just walked in my office on me.
Is that Coach Jones or
no? Before us, Coach. Oh my gosh!
It wasn't a gunslinger.
No, it's
It wasn't a gunslinger.
I know you're talking about. No, man, the gunslinger. If he did, it was he was in heaven. He was in football.
I was just joking with Coach.
Hey, Coach, he came down with wings.
That's the only one I know. That's
I know
the only
who
one
you're
I
talking
know.
about.
Hey,
Is
I'm
he the one
sorry.
who used to wear the hard hat?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I hope he's not listening, but yeah, he came in here, old school legend. I sat down, like, Coach, I gotta take you to lunch. I gotta take you to lunch. We so glad you're here at the Delta, and it was pretty cool. But a lot of people have come down here and supported me. The phone hasn't stopped ringing. But like I said, we report on August 3rd, so I'm trying to get equipment in here. I told these kids that when they come back on August 3rd, that they will see something different. So we're trying to put some paint on the walls. We're trying to get some new equipment in here. We're trying to, revitalize this place. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really, really exciting. We're going to go from 1 bus to 2 buses, Coach Cole. They took the team on the road on 2 buses. On 1 bus, we get 2 buses. I said we can't ride like that. Offense on 1 bus, defense on the other bus. If you want to win, I need another bus.
Hey, let me ask you this here, Coach. I know usually junior college rosters are really thin, Coach.
Yes,
really
sir.
thin. How many of you guys going to carry on your roster this year?
You can't. The limit is 65. You can only carry 65. So, and again, the institution has to support this. So, Coach Cole, Rocky, you can appreciate this. They've never carried more than 45 in the last 4 years at Mississippi Delta. I'm 100% coming out the gate with 65. I'm going to have my gun fully loaded.
Now, let me ask you this, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Because, when you're in these situations too, enrollment means a lot. Have they put a number on you, or you just said, well, look, I need to bring these many players in anyway? Because it's good for the school. When you bring in over 100 players that's going and helping paying bills, you can get those things like an extra bus.
That's right. And you're giving me some of my secrets. These other coaches might start doing it. But I told the administration, but I tell every parent, I say, if they don't make my 65, you got to just hang in there because they got to go to school. Let me make them a manager so that they can come out there and work with the position that they tried out for. Let me make them a filmer so that they can film and watch every single practice they got. Let me help them, get them to come and be an assistant trainer with me. There you go. So we're gonna find a way to keep them on campus so that when those 25 sophomores leave in December, I can jump 20 more players right in the mix right now and continue to build. Like I said, we're not trying to win a game. We're trying to build a program, and that's how you do it.
Right. That's right.
And those are things that we would be doing if I was at Ole Miss, Southern Miss, Mississippi State. They just have to give guys like us the opportunity, because I can guarantee you the stuff that I'm saying, That's what those coaches telling them players. Lane Kiffin saying the same thing down there at Ole Miss. You know, but what's so nice about it is we travel to those areas, so I can call Ole Miss, I can call USM, and I can call Jackson State and say, hey, I need to use your facility to do a walkthrough. Oh, coach, no problem, coach. No problem. What an experience my kids gonna get to do a walkthrough down there at Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and Jackson State. I better be quiet for these teams.
Well, let me ask you this here, coach. Let me ask you this here, coach.
Yes, sir.
And this is just thinking out loud, so you can tell me if it's something you do. If you look in the portal, a kid that maybe let's say at Southern Miss, he's entered the portal. He's a junior, or well, not a junior. Maybe he's a freshman. He enters the portal. Nobody picks him up. Can you call him and bring him to Mississippi Delta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We want to do that. We want that kid, and we're gonna tell that kid we'll get you back to Southern Miss, or we'll get you somewhere else. How do I know that? Because we're gonna pick up the phone and we're gonna tell somebody else that you're down here. They wouldn't have told them that at Southern Miss. We're gonna make the phone call down here, and they're gonna pick the phone up because of who's calling them. So that's what we're gonna tell.
Because one of the things that people have always complained about these last couple of years of the transfer portal, are kids are getting stuck in the portal. I keep hearing that term, getting stuck in the portal. And it seems like junior colleges now can add an opportunity for guys that are stuck in the portal.
Yeah, I truly think so. Like I said, the portal is a good, fertile recruiting ground. But the big Power Fives are just going to go pick up the people from the mid-level guys. But not all of them are going to be able to leave, because once you put your name in the portal, you in the portal. So you got to go somewhere. So our staff is going to sit there and go try to chase some of those portal guys, because if they don't get the Division I major or mid-major transfer that they want, come to us and we'll send you there in a year from now. So it has to be strategic as you go and look at that portal, but it's definitely something we're going to do. But to get in the portal, Rocky, you got to have that cost a fee. Just like it costs a fee to watch this show, you can't get access to the portal unless you able to pay that fee. So that's another thing that we had to put in front of the administration to be able to pay the fee to get us some access to look at that portal.
Oh man, that's awesome information. I didn't know that looking in the portal cost. The NCAA charge you to look in the portal.
Yeah, you can't just look in the portal. Nah.
Oh man, coach.
That was good. That was good information.
Yeah, that is good information, because we was thinking it was open to anybody who wanted to look.
Yeah, it is. But you got all those kids names. No, I can't tell you why it's like that. You gotta have a membership and an ID. You gotta have something to look in the portal. You can't just Google portal right now and look in it. Unless it didn't change.
No, coach. Well, I just thought the schools, an academic institution, would have access to it.
If they pay for it. Yeah, if they buy it, yeah, you can have access to it.
Coach, what are some of your goals that you set for your program this year? Coming in, being in the seat 2 weeks, knowing that you'll have a game in about a month. What kind of realistic goals have you set for the program just in the 2 weeks you've been there?
The first realistic goal is that they go and compete in the classroom. We talk about competing. So the first goal is that they have to compete in everything we do, but it's in the classroom. I got 37 players with over a 3.0 GPA, so that was attractive to me. But compete in everything you do. Compete in the classroom, compete in practice, compete in everything. Spitting, running, jumping, throwing, I don't care. Compete. Because if you can compete, that'll give us a chance to win and be competitive in games. And then we just have to decide what type of team that we want to be. And we talk about that all the time. And I'll give this to you. Hopefully nobody writes this down, but there's 4 different things it is. You're a team that lose big, or you're a team that lose close, or you're a team that win close, or you're a team that win big. We have to decide which one of those teams that we want to be, and we're going to set an identity so that we can decide which one of those teams we want to go be. And that's the challenge that we put in there. And if you heard what I said, you can kind of figure out. If you go look at what the record was in the last 4 years, you know what kind of team it was. But now you want to think about what kind of team do we want to be. That is the goal and the challenge that we set in front of them. And we talk about it every day. Do you want to be a team that lose big? You want to be a team that lose close? You want to be a team that win close? Or you want to be a team that win big? And a competitive team will be somewhere where you lose close or you win close. You take it from there on which one of this team is going to be prepared to try to do in this next season.
Yeah. Coach, looking at now you came in the spring and you was the defensive coordinator. You know where you think you guys are talent wise, you know, and if you can make a run to the championship, you know, of course we don't ever put that out. You know, where you think and where do you think where some of the problems was why they only won 2 games?
You know, one of the things for us, and like I said, I think is my eyes and Coach Taylor, his eyes. We've been looking at Division I players. You know, I've been looking at Division I players for 20 years, and Coach Taylor's been looking at them for 10 plus years, and nothing taken away from these teams. They play well. They're well coached. The top teams, you know, but we're not seeing anything on tape that's scaring us. You know, we see as we watch the tape, some missed tackles, some drop balls, some interceptions for touchdowns, you know, a double move that beats a guy. We truly believe that if we can just get a more disciplined team as it relates to eye discipline, gap integrity, hand to ball coordination, things like that, we'll be able to compete against these teams because they only are doing 3 or 4 things. And our offenses and defenses will be built to challenge those 3 or 4 things that we see. From a defensive perspective, I've watched every single team play at least 3 times in the short time that I've been here because I wanted to know what the top teams are doing. And I wasn't afraid of what I'm going to see. But again, I've been looking at Division I players all the time, and I just feel like if I can get my guys to line up and play with some gap integrity and some eye discipline and not give up big plays, I think we're going to have a chance to compete. And Coach Taylor sees it the same way. Coach Taylor's had the top offense in the SWAC over the last 5 or 6 years. So there's nothing going on to make me think he's not going to bring an offense to this league that they haven't seen before. And we're going to be competitive. He calling the offense, I'm calling the defense. So, yeah, we think we can challenge.
Is this the Coach Taylor that was at Alabama A&M?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's the offensive coordinator here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see how that got your attention?
Yeah. He had a prolific offense. I know he had a kill glass. He was lighting it up. He was really lighting it up.
You heard what Coach Cole said about my quarterback that's on campus, didn't you?
So okay. So it's safe to say that the Mississippi Delta coaching staff is SWAC.
We think so. Yeah. I got all Division I coaches. Every one of my coaches coached Division I. Every one of them. They weren't high school coaches. They weren't rec coaches. They seen it. They done it. In fact, one of my assistant coaches played with LC Cole, which is Johnnie Cole's brother. He'll be down here coaching my linebackers, running my special team. So I can't wait till we get him on campus and let him pour into these young people. But we got some real dudes that's gonna be on.
Oh man, that's
I
don't
awesome, know if
Coach.
Coach Cole knew that. So, but yeah, LC Cole.
You trying to pull me out of retirement?
I told you, if you tell me you're gonna come, I'm gonna have to go have a talk with Coach Taylor. We're gonna have to figure something out. I can get ice cold on the sideline. We sure got a chance.
Oh man, everything sounds like Coach. You know, it's interesting for a guy like me. Is the first time I heard about Mississippi Delta was a couple weeks ago when Coach Cole mentioned it.
Wow.
And I was able to, you know, kind of do my research and find out. And I even asked you, where is it? But Coach, just sitting here talking to you, Coach, I don't know where, Coach. I don't exactly know where it is, Coach, but I definitely would be willing to come play for you. And I wouldn't have second thoughts about either of my sons coming to play for you either. And I think that's what's important when about a football program is that parents feel comfortable sending their young men to learn and grow from other quality men. So it's always refreshing to see that circumstance and situation materialize. And again,
definitely
you got the stamp.
That you pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You got the stamp from Coach Cole.
To who we are. Like I said, I called Coach Cole 3 weeks ago. I told him I took the position, and he immediately said, "I need to get you on the show." And this is for all of us. All I'm a image of Coach Cole. We all been through this, man. Like I said, you got a bunch of us out there. One of my really good friends, Coach Ferry. If Coach Ferry was sitting in here, Coach Ferry, he coached over at Morgan, coached at Kentucky State. He's been all around. It's just we got talented dudes out here. They just need an opportunity. But for me, I'm calling all of them. I call Coach Ferry, I call Coach Cole, but they're both in situations right now in which they can't make a move down here. But whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm at, them type of guys are gonna get phone calls from me because they deserve these opportunities and they deserve to be on display as talented as they are on the sidelines.
Coach, we have this show is not only watched by SWAC and MEAC fans, HBCU fans, but it's also watched by coaches and administrators, right? And Coach Cole often gets questions from young high school coaches or young coaches in general trying to break into coaching at the college level. And this is the opportunity for them to learn from a guy like you, Coach. What recommendation would you give a young coach who wants to break into coaching at the college level? What would you suggest them do to break into coaching?
First thing I would tell you do is, in regards to me, you tell all of those young coaches to call me. Give them my telephone number and my email. I will return their call and I will return their email because I believe in that. We have to reach out and support those young people. But I would tell them to go to these coaching conventions, meet or networking events, meet as many people as they can. It's not cliche, as you probably heard it before, but you have to call them. You have to write them. You have to continue to communicate with these coaches, even when they don't respond back to you. Follow their games and say, congratulations on the win yesterday. Put the score in there so that they really know you saw you won yesterday, 21-7. Good job, whatever. Just communicate and network and just don't give up on it because you'll find one or two coaches that'll call you back, that'll take your call, that'll write you back. That's what I would say for them to continue doing. But if you have any of them out there, tell them that want somebody who will take their call, have them call me. I'll return every single call from any coach that want to get in the business and pour into them as much as I can because that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's so important that you have a coaching staff that's diverse, and that's even diverse in age and in experience. You can't have all young guys. You can't sit in the office and be the smartest in the room. All that is engagement for having a losing program. You got to be able to have. You can't have a office full of yes men as well. So it's a great balance. But you learn that through experience. You learn that through what Coach Jones been through, being around some great guys, and he probably has some stories about some not so great guys. But you learn all that.
Yes, sir.
And
another thing I would tell you to tell those young people is to make sure that those young people are ready. I'm gonna tell you why. Because yesterday I'm the new coach, and a guy came in my office. He's a local high school coach. He just walked in, knocked on my door, and he said, "Hey, coach, I want to be on your coaching staff." I said, "You do?" I said, "Sit down right there." And I asked him some football questions, and he wasn't ready for that. So don't say you want to do something because you never know. He maybe thought I was going to say, "Give me your resume. I'll call you tomorrow. I'm going to call you back." I said, "Sit down." And I started asking him some football questions. And he knew at that moment, he was like, man, he wasn't ready. And he texted me and said, "I'm sorry. Give me another chance." Well, I mean, they got to be ready.
Coach Jones, you know that see that old school. I teach now, and you can't even teach that way no more. You're embarrassing. You can't even teach little kids that no more. You know what I mean? And that's old school. And a lot of guys, what I found, Ernest and Rocky, was that's how we coach. We would have clinics, and we would put you on the board.
Yes, sir.
And if the coaches that have left me or my brother or those situations have went on to be great coaches. Coaches that have it and took it as, "Oh man, you in here trying to embarrass me. Oh man, you mistreat me." No, I'm trying to make you a good coach. And
Yep.
that's what, to me, that we're hiring now. And, one would say, well, we're not getting those draft choices in the SWAC, or in the MAYAC. It's something behind that besides that these great players are not coming to the HBCU.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? We
Yes, sir.
always been getting, like Coach said earlier, the 1 star, the 2 star, the 3 star, and we've been making them, and we were making them into 4 and 5 and NFL players.
Yes, sir.
But that's
Yes, sir.
because we had our ass up on that board, or one of the
Right.
coaches before us made us say, "Learn your shit."
Yep.
You know what I
Especially
mean?
guys that look like us. We can't afford.
Yes.
We all say, "I want to go PWI. I want to go PWI. I want to go to LSU. I want to go to Notre Dame." I didn't just get to go there because I went there. When they put me on that board, they asked me those questions. What would you do here? What do you see here? Evaluate this recruit right here. I knew how to do that. And that's what they're going to do. You can't just say, "Oh, he's big, he's fast." No, no, no. He has quick feet, he has great feet, he has good hip movement, he has lateral. Like, you got to talk that talk. And then go up there and tell me what you're going to do. 3x1, open field, cover 2. How you going to cover that? Draw it all up. I mean, and some of these coaches aren't ready for that. And they do. You're trying to embarrass me. No, I'm trying to get you ready because you say you want to go PWI. You want to go PWI, this is what you got to do. So,
Coach, what's funny to me is that a coach would be offended by being put on the spot when the job of coaching is this, coach. With 40,000 people watching and a 2 million at home watching, your job is to solve a problem that everybody sees.
yes, sir.
And that problem may be Randy Moss, or you understand what I'm saying, Coach? You
Yes,
got to
sir.
have a solution to that problem. So it's funny to me that a guy would get offended
Well,
Yes,
let
sir.
me say this.
when you're asking him to solve a problem when it's just you and him. Because
Coach.
when it's 40,000 in the stands and 2 million watching, you can get embarrassed. That's called getting embarrassed if you ask me.
But Coach, it happens in the NFL. They don't look like us, but they don't say how terrible they are. It happens in the NFL,
Yes,
Coach.
sir.
You know what I'm saying? It just don't happen in the SWAC and in the MEAC. It happens in the NFL because somebody's husband or somebody's son-in-law don't got a major job in the NFL because they know somebody. That's why I started this show, and that's why I like to expose stuff like that, to say we got to be better on us.
That's right.
Each one got to bring one. Each one got to teach one. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? So,
Yes, sir.
so that's why we not getting draft choices out of the conference. It
That's
ain't
right.
just these black kids don't want to go to HBCU. They ain't never. The last time that 5-star and 4-star athletes was going to HBCUs was in the 60s, the 50s, the 60s, and the first half of the 70s. It ain't been that way.
That's
When
right.
the 80s came and 90s, we were getting and developing players because we had coaches that could coach
That's
and
right.
develop kids.
That's right. That's
And
right.
we don't got away from that.
That's
We don't
right.
got away from that, Coach.
One of
Because
the things that I did, Coach, here in the short time I've been here, is every week, at least 2 of my meeting days, the kids got to get on the board. Because I said when the Division I coach come in here, they're gonna say, "Tell me what they're teaching you. Show me." So my kids, they didn't even know how to draw a circle, a hash, but they're getting to know that now. And you have to hire again coaches who know and understand that stuff. It's not just about saying, "Hey, I'm coach. I'm the coach. I'm the coach." What are you teaching these young people? Because they're going to be asked a question when they move on to the next place. That's
when
what. Go
I
ahead.
got the job at Texas Southern, I took a kid from Oklahoma State. Yeah, that wild Oklahoma State. I brought that kid down and started talking to him about cover 3, cover 2. Where you going to attack it? Where's the weak part? What are they giving up? What are they trying to take away? This kid had no clue. That kid told me, because that's when, Ernest, you appreciate that. That's when you used to sit up at the line and then look over at the coach, and then they tell you where to throw the football at.
Right, right. Yes, sir.
You know why they could do that, Rocky? It's because they got the 5-star, 4-star athletes that make plays.
Yeah.
Not get open and great adjust. They make plays.
That's
You can
it.
do that. And when you don't have that 4 or 5 star, like, you got to be creative. You got to be able to coach him up and get him ready.
Yes, sir.
And we just don't have that. And
Yes.
I don't want, I'm not here beating up coaches. I don't want to do that. I can get on the board with anybody. I can go anybody's office and sit down and we can talk football.
Yes, sir.
But and I know, Ernest, that people now are so sensitive. You know what I mean? Oh, you embarrass me. I don't want you to come in because you know more than me.
Right.
Only good coaches
Yes, sir.
that can come in and understand. And I'm looking at one in Coach Jones that can sit in the room and say, "Oh, I know I ain't the smartest in here,
That's
so I
right.
need to use him. I got to use him. I got to use him." What I don't know.
I just told you, I just hired. I'm not keep trying to say it. I'm just trying to rock it. This is how it worked. I just said, if I got 2 coaches right now, if Johnnie Cole and Fred Ferrier told me they come here and work with me on my staff, I'm making room from them. And both of them guys are as smart as me, or if not smarter than me. But I want them in the room because I want to develop these kids. That's why I want them in the room, and I want to win. And they're going to develop, and they're going to help us win. I don't give a crap if you know more than me or not. I don't have no. I already been to the national championship game. I done coached on 3 undefeated teams before. I know what it looked like, smell like, feel like. So
That's right.
I don't have no intimidation about it. Most people are intimidated by me when I come in the room because of my personality. But I want them to ask me what to do. I want that opportunity. And I'm just trying to teach people around me how to be ready if the coach say, "Tell me right now." No, don't come back tomorrow. I'm not going to call you next week. Go right now. Put it up there.
Coach, I know you're a defensive guy, but I try to ask all coaches this question when they come on the show, when I get a chance. And I want to, because I want to understand it, Coach. Why is it that so many teams, I was just going to say the SWAC or HBCU football, but I'm going to say football as a whole. Why are so many teams all across football struggle at the quarterback position? Like, it seems as if and the schools that don't struggle at the quarterback position are always the same schools, and the schools that do struggle at the quarterback position struggle till they get a special player, and if they get a special player, they don't struggle. But then once that special player is gone, they go back to struggle. So, do you have any reason why that is, Coach?
You know, and I'm not trying to be funny. I defer something like that to Coach Cole, who's the quarterback guru. But in my mind, what I see is that the quarterback position is a position that is a very detailed position, and it has to be coached in such a way with that detail. But you also have to be a coach who understands the little small nuances and details that go along with playing quarterback. Those things are where's the gift throw? Where's the soft throw? Where's the hole? Where's the window? What does it mean when he moves a little bit to the right this way? It's just so many things that go into that. And if these coaches aren't developed coaches who know what they're looking at and know how to tell a kid how to look at it and be able to go out there and execute, that it's probably the hardest position to coach in football, and anybody can't coach quarterback. You really got to be a special guy to coach that position, in my opinion. And there are a lot of people, especially in some of these schools, who get that job because of what they look like or who they related to and things like that. Don't have anything to do with their ability to coach that quarterback.
Let me ask you this, because you guys are in the profession. I'll ask Coach Cole to chime in on this. A guy who's a scheme guy and a player developer, are they two different guys? Are they the same guy? Or are those two totally different skills?
You want to go first, Coach Cole?
When you say scheme, are you talking defensively or offensively?
No, I'm talking about like we talking quarterback here, Coach. So we're saying a guy who has mastered the scheme that he runs, knows every situation for that scheme.
Yeah.
Is that one skill set,
I
And is
honestly,
developing players a quarterback a different skill set than that? Or,
Coach Jones, you appreciate this. You know, in the 80s, 90s, you know, you had to cover the whole field as a defense coordinator. You know what I mean? Because of formations, because you actually taught the quarterback the small things. I think the spread has made these kids lazy. The RPOs have made kids lazy. Either I'm running or I'm throwing off of one guy. If I don't hand and that get covered, then what you do? A lot of times you see a lot of quarterbacks get hit from one side. You know what I mean? You don't you see they don't understand about game management. You see a team jump up 21-0, oh, they doing well, but then the next six possessions, they run off 6 minutes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now they don't understand. Then also, I think when it comes to practice, and there's a lot more on my head, I just giving some things. Then in practice, when you throwing the ball all the time and don't have no fits, it makes your defense soft. You know, that's why defenses are soft today. You know what I mean? Because you don't focus on run game. You know what I mean? When you bring in an extra guy in. So I think the RPO has made people, made coaches, not coaches, but players lazy. When I watch 7-on-7, you know, I ref, you know, all over Arizona, the state of Arizona. And when I look at the quarterback, he doesn't get his depth back. You know, and he's sitting there not getting where he goes. He's not being able to scoot up and pop. He don't know how to read coverages. Wide receivers don't understand releases, you know, inside, outside, getting your depth. It's a lot of things around the passing game as coach explains so much that it just ain't being taught no more. And the
Yeah.
worst thing I ever see is when they alternate a damn quarterback, like they alternate the damn tailback or some secondary guy, like bringing a nickel guy in. That just blows my mind.
Right. And I also think to add to that is that, like, you know, over lunch today, Coach Taylor and I had a healthy discussion about the inside zone play, but with the RPO attached to it, because he's telling me that, and it's back to how you teach your quarterback. Because I'm saying, what are you going to tell my quarterback? So he jumps in 2-by-2 open. So Rocky, that's two wide receivers to the left, two to the right, one back in the backfield. And most quarterback coaches, they think that, well, that gets both your backers out of the box. So because we got to relate to that two wide receiver, so he feels like he can win the matchups uh, and run the inside zone because there's nobody in the box with that Mike backer.
You got a hat on
And
a hat.
and my point is that if you scheme it like you said, Rocky, and you just tell the quarterback that, you might run that play. But you also have to know that defenses, linebackers are run defenders first. So although you may have got me the apex out of that box to relate to that number two wide receiver, my first initial read and key is going to be run. So we'll be able to fit that play even if you spread me out like that. My only point is it all depends on what you're teaching that kid, and are you teaching him about the fundamentals of how defenses line up, what you do, what can you do to make them line up a certain way, but what do they do when you make them line up that certain way? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
absolutely.
And,
Absolutely,
and
coach.
and the other thing, just to follow up, and coach appreciate this, and I keep saying that, is defenses have caught up with that.
Yeah,
Now they're playing with athletes on the field.
yeah, yeah.
You might have 5, 6 corners out on the field. And it doesn't mean a corner is a little guy. He might be, you know, 6 foot,
Right.
220, that can run like, you know, and he might be playing outside linebacker. And that's all that is now. Now defenses are playing with better athletes on the field. They ain't
Yeah.
playing with them big linebackers back in the day where one of them is a stuff guy. They don't do that now. They play with athletes all over the field. If you can make tackles in open field versus the RPOs, you will shut the offense down.
Coach,
Yes.
interesting you mentioned the inside zone and you being a Alcorn alumnus. I saw them play a game against another school, and they exclusively ran the inside zone the entire game and actually won the game running one play. And it was amazing to me to sit there and watch them run the inside zone. They never brought in a heavier front. They never came in it never made them do anything else. They stood in that what do they call it, 4-2, 4-2-5 or 3-3-2, whatever, and ran the inside zone the entire play, coach, and never switched out of it. And it was amazing to me. And again,
a lot of times those safeties play where they come down and they actually in man coverage. If you're going to run the damn ball like that. See, defenses now, when you sit in 2x2 all the time, they scheme 2x2. Right. But when you 3, no back, tight end, double tight, you know, it makes it difficult for a defensive coordinator to hone in on different looks. Now, if he got to teach those kids a lot of different looks. But if you just sit there in 2x2, you don't, sometimes you don't know what they play.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying?
Most all good offenses are running the zone, the inside and outside zone. But I would just tell you, if all corner is being successful like that, one, if the defense don't know how to fit it, that could be an issue. Or they got some bad offensive linemen though. To be able to sit there and run zone all day, you got to have some linemen that can get a hat on the hat and cut some guys off. So they might be sitting pretty good.
I think that, Coach, I think their trouble was they were trying to fit it. And this is just my opinion. I'm no expert. They were trying to fit it, Coach. And even when they did fit it inside, the guys on the outside were so pass rush. You know, they'd just be able to bounce it and get in the inside of them, Coach. But it was interesting to watch them that night.
I was just going to ask you, Rocky, in the audience, is do they understand fits? Fits is where defenders come in and either turn the play in or spill the play.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. You know, and Coach, you know, as a defense coordinator, you got to teach that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's ultimate important, and that's what happens a lot of times when you see a guy break. Is somebody don't understand fit technique or hadn't been taught that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we talk that gap integrity, force. I mean, you got to understand force. You got to understand the alley. Like, there's a lot of things that go into trying to fit run plays. But if you know what you're doing and you can coach it up in that kind of detail, you got a chance. And we feel like we're going to have that. You know, teams, we don't believe teams going to be able to run the football on us because we're going to build a defense to stop the run and control the passing game. So that's how the people who know me, I'm aggressive. So we're going to come out to the quarterback. He better know how to get the ball out of his hand, and I'm going to play man coverage. So I love it. You know, I'm going to make you beat me. I'm a DB guy, wide receiver guy. Well, your wide receiver better be able to catch the ball. He better be able to get off the line of scrimmage. If not, we're going to pick your quarterback up off the ground. So he's going to have to be coached by somebody who know what he's looking at to go against his defense.
Hey, Coach, we about to wrap this up, Coach. But we got to give you an opportunity if there's anything you'd like to say to anybody, man. It seems like our followers and our listeners have been enjoying your contribution to the show. I want to personally thank you for coming on. But if there's anything you'd like to say before you get out of here, please.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having me on the show, and I hope y'all bring us back and take a look down here. Secondly, I want to thank my family, you know, for just supporting me and giving me this opportunity to leave Florida and come down here and do something that I love, you know, after spending 20 plus years in this space, you know. But I want to say that to these kids, because my team is listening. I don't know if they clicked over when you told them to subscribe, but you can see that it's real. You can see that people out there believe, you know. I respect Coach Cole. He's one of the most respected coaches in my network. And to be able to sit here and talk with him and conversate all night, I appreciate that, you know. But just come and support us. Come look at Mississippi Delta Community College down here in Moorhead, Mississippi. We're going to do some special things. But more importantly, we're going to impact the lives of these young people, and we're going to revitalize this community and give them something to be very, very proud of. We're going to graduate these young men, and we're going to give them an opportunity to compete on this football field at a very, very high level.
Man, thank you, Coach. Man, thank you for coming and sharing this time with us. I know you busy. You know, you got to put 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. But look, if I was a betting man, I would bet it all, Coach.
Yes,
I would bet on Coach Jones.
Yes,
And I
sir.
know
Thank
you're gonna get it, man. And definitely, man, I gotta make it down there. And I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you giving us this interview, man. And coach, you're looking Kappa sharp, baby.
Yo, yo. I appreciate it, man. Please keep an eye on us down here. And anytime you guys will have me, I would love to come back.
I appreciate
Thank
it,
you very
coach.
much,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Hey, and that was Coach Ernest Jones of Mississippi Delta Community College head football coach. Johnnie Cole, does he have
Yes.
your stamp of approval of a winner?
Oh, coach, without a doubt, man. I mean, he's a first class individual, and he's been at the big time, man. And I even hate to say it. I mean, he leave Alcorn and just couldn't scratch, couldn't climb back out, man, for some reason. And I hate that because the first thing they'll say, Rodney, is, when you coach HBCU, your career is dead. You know what I mean? And you say it so gracefully all the time. You keep up with the numbers. It happens. It's after you become a head coach at the HBCU realm. 80% of the time, you never get another head job, and really, it's tough for you to get an assistant job. And I just can't see if a guy can be a head coach, why can't he be an assistant coach on somebody's staff?
Coach, the guys that whether it be Coach Spears, now Coach Jones, Coach Sewell, there's so many really sharp guys at this level that are assistant coaches, former head coaches, coach. It really I'm really impressed with what HBCU coaches have to offer. And I'm not saying that Coach Jones is an HBCU coach, but he's a guy who has an HBCU coach. It seems for whatever reason, sometimes the competency doesn't always show up on the field, right?
Right.
And so as a coach, and someone who's evaluated coaches, coach, do you give a guy grace when it just doesn't show up on the field in a particular? I'll ask it like this: how much does situation factor into a coach's success?
How much? Say that again. I'm sorry.
How much the situation that he's given, the opportunity that he's given, how much does that factor in him being successful as a head coach?
Well, evidently, that these guys are not getting second and third chances on coaching. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it should. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the whole total picture. You just can't bounce it off of win and losses. You got to bounce it off of what he stands for. When he comes in and talk, what are the things that he's saying? What are the things that he's putting emphasis on? You can have a feeling of what kind of coach he is. But you have to have been there and seen that. And unfortunately, Rocky, everybody ain't a championship coach. Everybody ain't seen what a championship team is. When me and my brother is out and I'll be talking to some of my guys who worked up underneath us, and they're like, "Oh man, this team look like the '98 team. We gonna do well, man. This team look like the '99 team. This team look like your Texas Southern 2000 team. This team look like your '07, 2007, and 16 with Lane." But then at the end of the season, you know, they turn around and have a losing season. You know what I mean? Because they really ain't seen it. They really don't know how it is in those teams. They just looked at them from afar. They went on the inside, knowing what goes on, the integral parts of keeping a team together, integral part of making sure the locker room is clean, an integral part making sure you got a maintenance guy to make sure that everything is straight, equipment guy to make sure equipment is straight. Those lonely days and those lonely nights that you sit up in the office because you don't made some tough decisions. You know what I mean? It gotta be you. It's gotta be inside. I can get on here and tell everybody the secret and everything of what I do. But if it ain't who you are, you're not gonna have success. And we talked about Deion. That's who Deion Sanders is. The way he plays the game, he not only was talented. Talent means speed, long arms, but he was also a cerebral player. What does that mean? He knew on third and long they had to long, so he picked him. He let the guy think, I know you're going deep, but I'm gonna let you think I'm being beat. Or let me get back. And when you stop and run that comeback, I'm gonna eat that ball up. You know what I mean? That's what a cerebral player is. You ain't gonna see Deion get beat on third and long. He know you going long. And he gonna come up and make the tackle. Or he gonna pick it off. You might have a kid out there, it's 30 long, and he's so tight, he don't even understand it's 30 long. So what he do? He bite on the hitch. On the hitch, Rocky. Then
On
next thing
third
you
and
know, they
long.
go deep. And you be like, damn, it's third and long. That's the difference between a Deion Sanders, a defensive back, and somebody regularly on the defensive back.
Wait, when you said Coach Deion is literally, and I know this is my point. And shout out to Deion. It seemed like he's recovering from whatever health battle he's whatever his health battle is. Look like he's recovering from it, and that's a blessing. But Deion is a winner, Coach, and that's what I'll say about Deion.
Yes.
He's a winner. He's won at everything he's ever done.
Yes.
Yes. And so I agree with you. Everybody's not Deion. Everybody's not Deion.
He wasn't the first. He wasn't the first player out the locker room. He over there in the equipment room. He over there player personnel. He wasn't the last player. He making sure he watched film. And I don't even know Deion. I don't know Deion that well, but I've read enough about him to say that he wanted to know everything about a program. So when he got to coaching, it just fell in his lap. You know what I'm saying? It was who he was. He cared about kids. I can say that. Guys that I know him personally, he cares about kids. That's me. He came in and said that I want to make this place like it was when I was at Florida State. Because he's seen it. He done it. Championship. But everybody ain't like it. Who Deion is who Deion coach like as a person. Some guys ain't like that, Coach. They not like. Most are not. That's why most don't win championships. You can talk to every championship coach, and they will sound alike and they will be alike. I guarantee you.
So,
just like I can sit and talk with a loser. And when I hear him talk and I hear him say things, and if he ain't talking about the little things and a bunch of little things, I can tell you he's not a winner.
Coach, Coach, you say that, and I won't reveal any of it because I don't think it's important. But you told me things about guys very early in these last 2 seasons, and those guys are no longer in coaching right now. And you and you heard them talk. You didn't hear him for a long time. You heard him about 15, 20 minutes, and you were like,
I'm telling you, Coach. I'm telling you.
And these guys were experienced coaches. These guys were experienced coaches that.
Here's another thing. Everybody look at Nick Saban and talk about what Nick was cheating and paying people, right? But who wasn't cheating and paying players? You know what I mean? Who wasn't getting Oregon got this wood in the weight room that when you lift wood, and all the 25 uniforms in Tennessee and Texas make more money than everybody, and Nick beat them all. You know what you missed out of Nick? Nick get in the head, Coach. He convinced the kids. Yeah, you can go over there and catch 50 passes, 1,000 yards, or you can come here and catch 20 passes for 500 yards, but you're gonna be playing at the end of the season. That separated Nick. Nick got in here. Nick spent over $500,000 bringing people in, speakers in to speak to the kids about team, about being together. And Nick would wear his coaches out, Rocky. My brother worked for Nick several places. Nick would be so far up in your ass, if you farted, he'll know what you ate that last night. He wasn't afraid to hurt your feelings. You know?
Two things I really like about Nick Saban. This is two things I like. He never blamed players for anything. Never blame players. Never blame players for anything. And he was one of the guys that would openly, when they try to give him the credit for being a schematic football genius, he was like, hold up. I'm not very good at teaching average players how to play great. So I'm not going to take any credit for, or not, for trying to make a average guy great. I recruited great players to play great. That's what I did. I wasn't taking, and he didn't make any excuses about that, Coach. He wasn't like, he didn't like this. I got program guys. You know how guys do that old talk they do. Them program guys or whatever. He said I realized very early in my career that I try to coach good players to be great. I wasn't very good at that, but I knew how to coach great players to play great.
Ain't no question, Coach. Ain't no question. And and that's the thing about choosing a coach. And how can the dorm director, how can a guy that ain't never played the game, and how can a president, how can you had all these board committees choose the right coach? And that's why, and I'm not saying that's not a good process, but over and over and over again, they continue to choose the wrong guy. A guy come in in the interview with a Bible in his hand. Oh yeah, we need that guy. He loves Jesus. Well, to me, Jesus don't care nothing less about who win a football game. He here to save souls. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, this guy was quiet, and but if you come in there cocky and confident, you ain't gonna get no black collar job now. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it's just that way. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's the great thing about the game, man. I love coaching cocky players. I'm not afraid of cocky players as long as they have one thing, and that's respect. Respect for me, respect for the program.
Hey, Coach, speaking of cocky players, we're going to talk about a confident coach that has already booked his interview for the upcoming season. Did you see that email, Coach?
Yes, I did.
Coach. So we have Coach Tremaine Jackson, and I'll put it out, scheduled for August the 7th at 8 o'clock. He's the first one to book. He did shout out to Miss Thurston, because she facilitated the scheduling of Coach Jackson over at Prairie View, man. Coach Jackson ripped, ran, and ready to go, Coach. That email didn't last. I sent the email and it came right back. That's an inside joke between me and Coach Cole, because you know how tough it is sometimes to get those SIDs to respond to emails. Yeah. But Ms. Thurston, she responded right away. Also, shout out to the SID over at Jackson State. He responded as well. He let me know that the coach is going to be taking a break for the next couple days, and he's going to get back with me to schedule a time with Coach T.C. Taylor. So that I want to shout out to those guys, man, because I'm sure they got lots of press demands during this particular year, during this time of year. But I appreciate those guys getting back with me.
I'm a Donald Trump our fans. Them two gonna be playing in the championship game. Now you ask me 2 weeks from now, I said, man, I ain't said that. That's the championship game, Coach.
Wow, Coach, I wasn't thinking about it like that, Coach. But you're right. When you talk about who could, Coach, that could be the championship game, Coach. That's very well could be the championship game. And they were the first two schools that responded to our media request. So I mean, maybe that's coincidence. I don't know, but they very well could be in the championship game.
And that's good programs. Good programs, like Coach Jones said earlier, win championships.
Wow.
So make sure we copy this down, so when that happens, we're going to replay it.
Oh, yeah, I got you, Coach. Hey, Coach, so looks like we got next week we're going to take off, Coach. If nobody gets a job, if nobody, you know what I mean, we got next week, we can take off, and then
Right.
we can get started here the following week, man. I'm looking forward to a great season, Coach. And we're putting together our schedule to the games we're gonna go out and take a look at and grab some content and get old Coach on the field. Like I want to get Coach on the field again, like we had him last year, Coach. Guys, you should have seen him on the field. He right before the game, he was right at home, Coach. He was right there at home on the field, talking to the coaches and the players. Man, you was in your element then, Coach.
Ain't no question, man. I love it. I love it, boy. I love it. And you know, and that's the August 23rd, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we definitely got to get to the game early and get down there on that field.
For sure, Coach. Well, I'll let you take us out of here, man, Coach.
Man, you know, again, I want to thank you guys. I know we've been doing some specials. We're going to get this thing back on track. The train, the HBCU Coaches Corner train is going to get back on track next week on August the 5th, after my birthday, which is August the 4th. So hopefully you guys can wish me happy birthday. Hey, man, hey, life is a journey. It's not a sprint, man. So if you're having hard times, as I always say, you tie a knot at the end of the rope and you hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.